Alrighty, YouTube, it's your boy Zxous, and we're back with another Goddess of Victory Nikke video. And in today's video, we're going to be taking 2B on the team that I feel like, after all this damn testing, my personal testing, of course, I think what I'm gonna come down to, I'm going to say that her best team for me right now is probably the crit / MAST team, obviously. Right, so essentially a crit-based team around her, and I'm only doing that because of MAST, right? I feel like if MAST didn't have her crit support, then it would be a different story. But because MAST is already 2B's best partner, and MAST's other biggest feat is the crit support, obviously insane crit damage and crit rate, it's just better to go and give 2B crit support. So I'm bringing volume as well. I think I'm going to get volume up, and volume will be my main burst one if I'm deciding to use 2B. In terms of overload gear right now, I think what I want to give her, honestly, ammo capacity, the thing is, it doesn't change the fact, honestly, I feel like ammo capacity does not change the fact that the skill 2 still takes long. Regardless if you have the reload, if you have ammo capacity, I feel like the reload, or the time it takes to get the skill 2 off with an AR takes long regardless. So I think if I was to, give her the perfect stats, right? And I'm going to remake a video because I made this video before I come down to this conclusion. But I think if I'm going to use this character, I'm going to probably focus on crit rate, crit damage. And the thing is, this character is a character who's really good against bosses as well, right? Fantastic against bosses. But right now I have no dupes. I don't think I'm going to use 2B against any boss. I'd probably use her against bosses that she's, stronger against, and in that case it would be wind. So honestly, if I'm going to give her, overload gear, I think I'm going to give her crit damage, crit rate, and attack percent, or element damage dealt. And that's only because I don't think overload gear is the issue with this character. I don't think when I say you need to invest into this character, I don't think that means you need overload gear. I think when I say you need to invest into this character, it really comes down to the team. And I've really realized that when testing out full HP team, full attack team, a combination of HP and attack, a combination of HP crit, a combination of attack crit teams, right? I think really it comes down to the type of team you have. And obviously these skills, you want all these skills up as much as possible, right? 10, 10, 10 is where you want these skills to be as high as you can possibly get them. I think that's what you want to do. But overload gear obviously has its uses, but I don't think overload gear is what makes this character good or bad, right? It makes her better, but it's not like if you don't have overload gear, she's a trash character. No, I think honestly it's just the team around her, and that's where you need MAST, I feel like. And then if I'm using MAST and I want the crit damage support, that's where volume comes in. So you can kind of see how the puzzles are all connecting there, right? So I think if I'm going to be using 2B in the future, I'm probably just going to be using her against bosses when Solar Ray comes around or Union Ray comes around. So I'm probably going to reroll for crit rate, crit damage guaranteed, like the main two, and then attack or element damage for the boss, right? Because again, hit rate is just it's not really changing much. So we're going to go into shooting range and, try this out with the crit team, see how well she performs. I'm actually going to put Guillotine here. Right, Guillotine is the closest thing I have to a quote-unquote Scarlet. We're going to do 2 tests. So Guillotine first, and then we're going to do Anise. We're going to keep this team exactly. I'm not going to put Modernia in there. Maybe we'll do one with Haran as well, right? I kind of want to go against these electric girls because I feel like these are the DPSs of the game right now. But yeah, I think this is honestly... So my Guillotine doesn't have overload gear. Core 1. Level 21 on bonds, I know that. And it just has higher stats than my 2B. So Guillotine should technically be hitting harder than my 2B because she's more invested and she's getting all the buffs that 2B is getting, right? The only thing is 2B buffs up herself with her second skill with the attack from the HP, and then obviously look at the numbers here, right? 3 million, a million on every enemy when she crit there, and then a 3 million from the second additional damage on her burst skill, right? The second attack that just deals like what? Right now it's 600% for me to one enemy, right? So she's, when it comes to these crits, she's doing it. And then when we're not in her burst skill, she's critting a lot more, as you guys can see, right? 33k here, right? Obviously my characters are not insanely leveled, right? And I think one thing that I'm glad right now is that my characters are not insanely leveled, because I want to say, from what I'm seeing, especially on Reddit, a lot of people are showcasing, you know, 2B max overload gear. And there's no problem with that, of course, but I'm glad that with my videos, at least, even though I don't have Scarlet, so maybe, like, honestly, you know, I can never show you guys what 2B with no dupes looks like against the Scarlet, at least not on my account. So you're gonna have to find another YouTuber or another like video source or information source for something like that. I can't help you guys there realistically, but I think me not having dupes right now, I am gonna go for LB3, not Core 7. No, I can't. But LB3, I think honestly is where I'm gonna stick with. And right now, her being no dupes is a good showing to show for, like, 44 million, 33 million. That's good. 2B at 44 million. But the thing is, here's the thing. If I change this exact team, right? So if I remove these two, right? So we're going to put in, let's put Litter for the attack buff. And then we put in, who's the burst 2? That, okay, we'll put in Blanc. Okay, let's put in Blanc and Noir. Right, so we're going to get the attack buff still, technically, from Noir. And we're going to put in Blanc as well. So this is like more of just an attack buffing team, right? We're not getting no HP buffs from here. We're just getting attack and damage dealt buffs from here. You're going to see a massive difference in damage, I feel like, right? I've tested this out. And she really does not perform as well without MAST. It's really MAST. And then when you have her with MAST, you kind of want to build around her and MAST as the duo, rather than her and MAST, or just her alone, right? Because MAST is a crit buffer, so now you want to build a team around crits, right? But you guys can see, I already see the damage is a lot lower. We're barely critting and stuff like that. And then because she only has, what, 5.99%, she's not performing. But obviously, Guillotine, oh, we're getting healed here. That's a problem. Okay, let me redo that. We're getting healed. I don't want heals. I just took that in. I forgot Guillotine is a character who needs no HP. I'm sorry. Let me fix this up. Alright, so I put Rupee in there instead, right? I apologize, y'all. I don't know why I forgot about the heals. It's been a minute since I used the bunny girls, actually. I've been testing with these characters for so long that it's like, I wasn't testing with the bunny girls as much, right? When I tested with the bunny girls like 4 times. Hey, but this team is all just attack supporting. So you're gonna see, even though her main damage source is from final attack buffs, you're gonna kind of see how even with attack buffs, the HP gain that she gets from having MAST, and then the crit damage buff she gets from having MAST alone, is so much more beneficial than just regular attack buffs, right? So I think right now on record, I'm going to state that 2B's best team is probably crit-based teams. Obviously, I think that's the team that you should probably focus on. And then again, if you do, I don't think overload is the problem, but if you do decide to overload gear her, probably give her those crit rolls. And then depending on how you want to use her, I don't think this is a character that's like needed for progression. I think honestly it's a character who's really going to shine more in bosses, right? And we seen that really yesterday with the Gravedigger showcases on live, I guess, and then also my video that I did posted up today. Right, I think bosses is where this character truly shines. So there is that. Now the one thing is, I think we're gonna get 2B's burst skill again. I don't want that to happen, so I'm gonna actually, okay, no, I think we're gonna get 2B's burst skill off, and I don't want that to happen. Okay, we're fine. So we got Guillotine's burst skill off last. Let's see. And now it's Guillotine is just much stronger than 2B. Just much stronger with 2B, right? So 2B really crit team is where you want to go with her. Realistically, I think crit team is where you want to go with her. Let's put on the crit team again. So volume and MAST, and then we're gonna try it with let me put her on first. Let me gear up her on and then we'll go. Alright, I geared up Haran. Now you're probably wondering, Zxous, why are you trying to go out with Haran? I know Haran is not even in the conversation. But I feel like Haran is also a very, in terms of shooting range, Haran is a character who really does more damage when you use her burst skill, right? The virus effect, or virus transfer, I guess. And then also the burst skill. But I think, if I remember correctly, from the last time I used Haran, which was with the Summer and Niche showcase, I think I realized that virus transfer doesn't get affected into her damage because it's a debuff, right? So it's not damage she's outputting. It's damage she's doing technically. She's causing the damage, but it's not being implemented into her stats when we finish this match and then we look at the stats. And let's say her damage is at like 10 million. Let's say 5 million damage is probably missing from the virus transfer and it's not being showed there. So Haran is doing more for you than you know, but you don't know because it's not showing. But obviously, yeah, there's no crit. The crit team is, yeah, crit team is where you want to be at. Because even when you pass the 30 seconds, right, remember, MAST only gives crit buffs for 30 seconds of the battle. After that, she's only providing crit damage. If you have volume to give you the crit you're looking for, the crit rate you're looking for, and then obviously the overload gear with the crit rate, she's going to be critting every time on her burst skill. Damn near 2B will be critting every time on her burst skill, and she's going to be critting insanely hard. And I think that's why you want to go with the crit-based team. And it's not just a general crit-based team, but MAST. I really don't think you should be using 2B if you don't have MAST. It's honestly, like, I'm not going to hope to you guys, you should not be using 2B if you don't have MAST, right? It's just, 56 million to 22 million. Right, and now we're gonna put her on with Anise. Now this one is gonna be much more interesting for me because Anise is a character who, if we look at my Anise build, full level 5 on her attacking pieces. Right, these are her stats: attack, defense, hit rate. I need to fix these up, of course. Crit damage, hit rate. So she's getting more crit damage here, and then also full level 10 with resilience cube. So she's bond level attraction 11, and then 1 dupe in her. She is going to probably outperform 2B because she's spamming, right? Literally, 2B would have been much more broken in my opinion, in general, like no dupes to core 7, if she was able to spam that second skill, right? But because you're not able to spam that second skill, regardless, no matter what you do, until they add a character who buffs up allies' attack speed, which is possible in this game, because I think it's Sugar. Let me open up Pride Wind right now and see. I think it's Sugar, but there's a character in this game that increases their own attack speed. I believe it's Sugar. Let me just double check. Sugar. Yeah, Sugar increases her own attack speed by 68%. Like, if they gave that to 2B, she would have done numbers. Because when you use her second skill, she does numbers, right? If we take a look at it, right, when we get that second skill off, I don't know what the numbers are at right now, but it should happen sometime soon, right? No, that's the burst skill. And then it's right here, right? 855k to all enemies. Crit. She crit on all of them. 855k to all enemies, right? And then with dupes and stuff like that, that could be 1 million to all enemies. If there's 10 enemies, 1 million per enemy, that's 10 million just on the second skill. So you can quite see how the numbers are going up and how the numbers are really like going to rise up in shooting range when you're using this character, right? To do that much. But if she was spamming 10 million, let's say, oh no, that's okay. Yeah, if she was spamming that second skill, then she would be much better. But as you see, 32 million from 2B, 60 million from Anise. It just makes sense though, right? Anise is literally spamming that second skill. And she's getting all the same supports as 2B, right? On top of her own supports. So I think unless I like literally completely dupe out 2B, my 2B will never outshine my Anise in damage just for that reason, right? Because in order for Anise or 2B to outshine characters in damage, I feel like she has to, on her burst skill, do dumb damage, right? So let's say in 10 seconds, if I'm using, Anise's burst skill, it takes me 10 seconds to get from 0 damage to, let's say, 15 million damage. I feel like in order for my 2B to outshine her, when I use her burst skill, she has to automatically go from 0 damage to like 40 or 50 million damage, right? Because by the time you get back to Anise and you use her burst skill again, you know, 2B and her will kind of be on par, and then when you use 2B's burst skill again, she'll just surpass her. So 2B literally just has to like do insane damage on her burst skill, and you do that by investing into her with dupes and stuff like that, and her team, right? So I think honestly, if you're going to use 2B, use her with MAST. I think crit is the best way to go about her. So yeah, I think right now I'm on record saying her best stats are probably crit rate, crit damage for sure, and then the third one could either be attack, element damage. Hit rate could also work, but I don't recommend it because it's like, I know she's an AR, but she doesn't need hit rate right now. I don't think. I think if you're going to use her, she needs the either attack percent or element damage, right? You can give her max ammo capacity if you want, but it's really not changing much. So probably the attack percentage or element damage, depending on how you want to use her. I'm probably going to give her the whatever I get first, really. So if I get attack, I'm going to keep it. If I get element damage, I'll keep it. But crit rate and crit damage is definitely what you want on your gear sets for this character, I think. That's what I think. I think her best team is crit damage team. So you guys let me know what you think, of course. Your boy Zxous. I'll see you guys next time out. Peace.